Hi folks, it's Andy and welcome to this week's Kendo Rant. Okay, so here we are for another week of questions. We've got a few to get through today. You're going to have to excuse my voice. I've got some sort of cold or something. Every now and again, you're going to hear me sort of sounding like Solid Snake or Big Boss or something like that, which is pretty cool, but unfortunately, I don't sound like that all the time. So, it is what it is. We're going to have to deal with it. We're going to power through. Before we jump into these questions, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, write a comment down below. What a fantastic Kendo video. You've got to use the word Kendo. You hit the like button, it switches on the YouTube robots. Type the word Kendo, it programs them. They go out there and they convince more people to start Kendo. Okay, we've grown the Kendo population by doing this. We're aiming for 6 million people having started Kendo by the end of the year. We've got just over a week left. I think we can do it. We've already done more than 4.5 million, I think, probably by doing that. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So hit like. What a great Kendo video in the comments, words to that effect, and you're going to do your bit to increasing the Kendo population. All right, so that's that. More importantly, though, if you like what we do, don't forget to shop at KendoStar.com. KendoStar is the best Kendo equipment website in the galaxy, in the history of mankind. Of course, I would say that because I own the place, but let's be honest, right? It's the best, right? It's the best, yeah? I know it's true. You know it's true. You can waste your money elsewhere and then come to us in the end. But if you don't want to buy twice, just come to KendoStar in the beginning. We've got some great offers on right now for Christmas. This is actually a Christmas episode. I'm not dressed up as Santa this year. Couldn't quite face it with the cold and stuff. But, you know, you get my winter voice. Let's put it that way. But yeah, KendoStar's the best, right? We've got some great deals on for Christmas. Get to KendoStar. I've done a video already as well about KendoStar's opening hours over the festive period. We're closed from tomorrow until the 3rd of January. So if you email us and stuff, it might be a little bit longer than usual for us to get back to you, but I'm sure you can appreciate it. Anyway, shop at KendoStar. It's the best. It's dead good. Shop at KendoStar.com. You know what's funny is actually, just as I continue my plug for KendoStar, on Reddit, on the Kendo Reddit, recently, you know, I'm quite active on there, and sometimes someone pops up with a question for KendoStar or about KendoStar products. I might chime in and stuff like that. But I actually haven't had to do that recently because you guys have all been doing it for me, which is great. You know, somebody will come on, oh, what do you recommend, stuff like that. And the comments are pretty much always, oh, got a KendoStar, it's so good. I bought a KendoStar, it's the best decision I ever made. Changed my life. Stuff like that. It's pretty much that sort of thing. So shop at KendoStar because everyone thinks it's the best. Right, okay. Let's get to these questions. Right. Your personal reflection on 2023, please. Okay, so 2023 has been like it's been a pretty awesome year, actually. A lot of stuff's happened for KendoStar as a business. Of course, it's been amazing. Thank you, everybody, for supporting it. It has been a really, really huge year for us. We keep on growing, which is good. We've got new stuff planned for 2024 as well, so keep your eyes peeled on that. But personally, sort of Kendo wise, especially, it's been really cool. It's like a lot's happened. I think starting out in the beginning of the year, I was able to go back to Japan for the first time in like 3 or 4 years because of the whole, you know, thing. So it was great to get back to Japan. I've been to Japan twice this year, actually. But yeah, I went spent some time in January in Japan, had some amazing Keiko there really changed my attitude towards Keiko. We had we had some Godo Geikokais here in the northwest of the UK as well. I wanted to set up a sort of a Kendo practice for there's a little bit more sort of style like a Japanese practice for people who had probably already sort of downgrade holders. They can just sort of turn up and practice rather than it being a structured class. So we started doing them. They've been pretty successful. I think we did 6 of those over the year. What else? I got to referee at the European Championships. That was pretty awesome. I think I managed to practice with something like 11 or 12 Hachidan senseis this year as well, which is pretty awesome. Great in my preparation for my next grading, which is next year, 2024. So hopefully if you ask the same question next year, I'm going to have even better stuff to say. But yeah, I got to referee at the European Championships. That was a huge thing for me. A massively great experience. I really enjoyed it. I learned a load from it. I've done a video about, if you haven't seen that, then you definitely should check that out. What else? I became the coach of our national team after that. So I've been coaching the national squad for about 6 months now as well, which has been pretty cool. It's been pretty awesome, actually. I've been seeing them really work hard and really start to improve. So looking forward to the Worlds next year. I've entered a few Shiai this year for the first time in a while. Had some success, had some disappointments. But you know, it is what it is. I've been happy with how it's gone overall. So it's been a great year, all things considered, both on a sort of business front with KendoStar. It's been awesome. And with my own personal sort of Kendo development. It's been really interesting because I think about a year ago, this time last year, I was in a really sort of difficult place with my Kendo. I wasn't sure sort of what direction I was supposed to go in, what I was, you know, especially, you know, thinking about the 7th Dan exam, for example. Was I really, you know, I had a lot of doubts. Was I really practicing in the right way? Was I doing the right thing or not? And sort of going over to Japan helped me with that a lot. And I think I've found my way a bit more over the last 12 months. I've still got a lot to improve on, but I think I've got a bit of a better idea of the direction I'm supposed to be going in. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good. And I just say, you know, I've just put a video out already, just thanking everybody. And just, you know, as a thank you video, really, for everybody's support over the last year, especially for KendoStar, but, you know, for my staff as well. I really appreciate it. So, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, next one. Okay, folks, you can probably tell I'm struggling with my voice, so I'm going to try and keep these answers short and sweet and to the point as much as I can. I'll try not to ramble or go off topic. But, hi Andy, I'm getting back into Kendo in 2024. Great, welcome back. I'm currently unranked, but my short-term goal is to get Shodan. Good. What should I be focused on to get Shodan? Thanks and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. You need to be able to strike with Fumikomi, okay? So you need to be able to do Fumikomi. You make your strikes with Fumikomi. And it must be timed roughly with the strike. And then you need to learn the kata, all right? If you can do those two things, you'll be able to get Shodan, all right? You have to remember Kirikaishi, of course, and do it with the Fumikomi. If they look at Kirikaishi and the grading, it depends where you are. But if you can do hits with Fumikomi, you'll pass Shodan, okay? It's pretty much that simple. Or you should pass Shodan. Obviously, it depends on the grading panel stuff. But anyway, in theory, that's how it goes. Hi, Andy. I'm trying to choose between the Kamui and the Vanguard Sentinel Borga for my first new Borga set in almost 20 years. Wow. Being in the tropical region of Australia, temperatures in summer between 25 to 35 degrees Celsius, high humidity. Okay, cool. All right. Similar to Japan, to be fair. Weight is a major consideration, balancing comfort and protection, of course. Having gradings and potential Shiai coming up this year. Any advice greatly appreciated. You should choose the Vanguard Sentinel, all right? The Kamui is a fantastic, beautiful Borga set. It really is. It is. But all things considered, the Orizashi Hudon of the Sentinel will dry a bit faster. I think someone already replied saying how great the Kamui is, but because the Mune is synthetic deerskin rather than Kurozan, that tends to take longer to dry as well. So my advice, to be honest, would be go with the Sentinel. It's a brilliant bow set as well. It's lightweight. You're going to get great protection out of it. It's going to look awesome for your gradings and your Shiai as well. But as well, it's going to dry real fast. And it's good for that sort of hotter weather. So yeah, my advice is go for the Sentinel. You'll be happy with the Kamui too. It's a lovely bow set. But if you're looking at all that, all those things you pointed out, and I'm going to pick between the two, it's the Sentinel. Okay, right. Next one. Can get back in focus. This camera I need a new camera for Christmas, I think. In Shiai, after winning an Ippon, would it be considered rude or arrogant to walk back to the Kaisen with just one hand holding the Shinai? Then after losing an Ippon, the Ken shows visible disappointment by looking at the sky or even dropping the Kensan on the floor. Should this be discouraged since when winning an Ippon to show any gestures of victory, a Torikeshi can be given? Okay, so I don't think it really does look that good if after scoring Ippon, you take one of your hands off the Shinai and then walk back. It's better to keep both hands on. It does, the Kaisen is the starting line, by the way. It's literally what it means. Kaisen means start and sen means line. So I would recommend that when returning to the Kaisen, keep both your hands on the Shinai. It does look better. In terms of the losing an Ippon, showing your disappointment. I mean, obviously within reason, yeah. If you start having a tantrum and stuff like that, and refusing to walk back to the Kaisen, stuff like that, then it's not good. And it depends on how that disappointment manifests, right? I don't think it's a big deal if it's clear that you're like, oh, that's disappointing. I didn't manage to do it. But if you're like doing it towards the referees, like as if they made the wrong decision or something like that, then that's not good, is it? Yeah. But I think it's kind of natural as well, especially if you're at like a high level. Like if you got through to the final or something like that, or there's a high stakes Shiai and you lose, it's a kind of natural reaction to be like, oh, okay. I can't say I've never done it before. In terms of the gestures of victory, I mean, yeah, it's not actually worded like that in the rules. I'm just looking at it as we're talking about it. It doesn't actually say about expression of victory, though that is generally how it's interpreted. The actual wording on it is Torikeshi of Yuko Datotsu is applied in the following cases: when the Shiai who made the Yuko Datotsu is not alert in spirit and or posture to possible counterattacks. That means you can do the Torikeshi if you hit, like if one of the players hits, the flags go up, but then you realise actually they didn't have a Zanshin, you can then do the Torikeshi. Sometimes happens, right? Like sometimes as your referee and you're kind of really focused on watching the match for the valid strikes, that at the point, oh, that's a really good chance, good strike, bam, the flags sort of go up automatically before you've actually seen the full strike. So it's always better to try and make sure you see the whole thing, but sometimes it is a bit of an automatic reaction. So if you do that, you can do the Torikeshi then. And then it says, when the Shiai who has made the Yuko Datotsu makes exaggerated gestures of surplus power or validness of Datotsu, which is like, like trying to oversell points and stuff like that. And I think that's generally, the sort of rule under which kind of over celebration is also you know, applied, you know, doing your sort of, yes, fist pumps and stuff like that. So, you know, people often talk about the fist pump or the guts pose, as it's called in Japanese. But it's not limited to that, okay? It's not limited to that. So that's the that's the key. It can be like when people like hit men and like man, and the flags are up and like man, like this, you know. I've seen that, you know, that can get you the torikeshi too. Okay, next one. In your video regarding can Kendo make you a better person, you speak about the gojo, yeah? Jin, Gi, Rei, Chi, and Shin. Brilliant video and definitely gives Kendo so much more depth. Good, I'm glad you enjoyed it. 2 questions. Firstly, you mentioned it is related to the 5 pleats in the front of the hakama. Can you provide more insight into the last pleat, the one at the back, that is associated to makoto or sincerity? I can across this in the late Jeff Salmon Sensei's book Kendo. Okay. Secondly, can these virtues be incorporated in some kind of curriculum or guidance, guidelines for behavior within a dojo, in your experience? And has this been done, or how is it implemented? Okay, so for the first part of the question about the pleat in the back of the hakama, right? I have heard it being ascribed to makoto, right, which is this kanji. But I've also more commonly see it ascribed to this kanji chu, or sometimes chuko. I think is how you write this one, chuko, right? And it's similar, but I wouldn't say that sincerity is the right. Although sincerity is the sort of main meaning of makoto, it can also mean faithfulness, and what these mean is basically loyalty, which I think is more appropriate. Essentially, obviously these come from sort of Confucianism and the ideas surrounding sort of you know, samurai culture and stuff, where being loyal to your liege or whatever was also important. But I think in Kendo it's also very important because I think the concept of loyalty and somewhat faithfulness to your teacher, your sensei, can be very, very important as well. So I think that's what they sort of ascribe to. In terms of can they incorporate it into some sort of curriculum or guidelines for behavior in a dojo? Yeah, I think so. I think you could come up with something like that, but it's probably worth like making it as like a handout or something that you could maybe make and then you know, distribute to your dojo members, perhaps, and you know, get them to realize that Kendo's not just hitting each other with sticks, but it does have a sort of deeper meaning. All right. Okay, next one. How do I know it's time to replace my men? It's starting to look a bit battered in places. Well, you definitely need to start to replace your men if the main things you would need to replace it is if things start to get broken on the membuchi. All right, that's the hard bit that's usually painted black and red. If that started to come away or stuff like that, it can be hard to fix that without taking the whole thing apart, and it's usually cheaper just to buy a new one. So things like that. And then also if the membuton, the futon itself, like especially if it was like a cheaper men, depends where you got it from. You know, some of this stuff that's like really, really cheap, it might seem like a good deal, but the stuff they put inside, it's not great. So after a few times it's been hit, this sort of area can get really, really soft and thin. So if that started to happen, it might be worth looking at as well. And then finally, like if it's all battered and what have you, and you can afford to replace it, then, you know, obviously it's better to have gear that's in good state of repair, especially if you want to present for grading exams, or even in the Shiai. you know, your gear should be in good order, to be honest. All right, and then otherwise it's just if you want a new one or not. Last one. Before my voice completely goes. Are there any Christmas traditions in Kendo? I know Christmas isn't a big deal in Japan, but just wondering if there's anything dojos do to celebrate. So Christmas isn't really a big thing in Japan so much. More New Year tends to be a bigger thing. You tend to have like a keiko osame, which is the last keiko of the year. Maybe a hatsugeko, the first keiko of the year. A lot of dojos, like kids dojos, they might do what's called a bunaisen, which would be like a little tournament inside the dojo. And sometimes they'll do it as a bit of a joke as well, you know, like they'll play around a little bit. Maybe like one of the senseis will wear a silly costume or something to entertain the kids. They do that sort of thing. I think my own personal favourite, kind of end of year rather than Christmas kendo tradition that I ever got involved with was the Toshikoshi Geiko, which is on New Year's Eve from 11:30 p.m. until for an hour basically is a big Godo Geiko. So you do kendo as you see the new year in. I really enjoyed doing that the couple of times I did it. So yeah, I think that's a really cool thing to do. Difficult to organize, though, especially outside of Japan where a lot of stuff's like closed or people are having parties and stuff at venues. Whereas in Japan, you know, where, you know, dojos own their own dojo or something, it might be a bit easier, but I think it's a really cool thing and it's something that I'd like to do again, actually. So there we go. We're at the end. We're at the end. I've just about got a little bit of voice left to say. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a very happy holiday season, and a very, very happy new year for 2024. Thank you very much for all the support you've given me and the channel over the last year. We've got more to come in 2024. Don't forget to appease the YouTube robots. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, shop at KendoStar.com. I'll see you in the new year, hopefully with a new voice. Bye-bye.